I'd like to spend a few moments and introduce you to bass motion drill number 4. This one goes through several different key centers with 5 ones, outlining chords. If you've not yet done so, I'd again ask you to please do subscribe if you're enjoying the content, like, share, leave a comment. If you'd care to leave a tip, the PayPal information's in the description below. And let's get started with bass motion drill number 4. This has some really useful shapes in it, useful associations for your fingerboard visualization. So this is similar to another bass motion drill we've had recently, where a chord tone sits and we shuttle a root and the flat 7 below it. So here's C sharp with A at the 7th fret of the 4th string, 6th fret of the 3rd string. We're striking both and then making our bass motion here from A to G, 7th to 5th fret. These are splitting, contrary motion, 4th and 7th fret, F sharp and D on strings 4 and 3. 4 and 7. And we're making a little bass run to finish. So from F sharp and D, passing E while trying to keep this ringing, landing on D, so we have octaves. So this would be 4th fret of the 4th string, 7th fret of the 5th string, and 5th fret of the 5th string. So that's a nice chord shape to know that that outlines a major chord. So here's A7, D, then we're adding a 10th above, D and F sharp, 5th and 7th fret of the 5th and 2nd strings. I don't talk about this a lot on these lessons, but if you were sitting with me in a room having a lesson, I would definitely be talking about posture and what you're doing with your forearm. So I have noticed over the years of teaching that a lot of people really squeeze their forearm into the side. A good hint I was given by a Tai Chi teacher was to feel as if you have an egg under your armpit. You don't want to crush it. So it's just held there, but we can feel some freedom here. It's important. You want length in your lower back. So we feel that the arm is draped from the shoulder and we're not squeezing in or using unnecessary force. So we're back to our 10th, D and F sharp, and now we're going to go through a little cycle of A7. Very simple. C sharp and E, 4th and 5th fret of the 5th and 2nd strings. We reach out a whole step within the scale to F sharp, from E to F sharp 7th fret. Then we split A and G, the root and the flat 7, at frets 5 and 8. And we come back to this E note with a bar. So A and E. Then we're going to shuttle between root position, D chord, D and F sharp, 5 and 7, going up to 8th fret, and first inversion, F sharp and A, frets 9 and 10. And that's really the way I developed this exercise or this drill, was to try to link all of these inversions up so that you start making these associations of shape and position. So the A7, D, A7, A7, D. So it's just 1s and 5s. Now, we're going to go to E minor. So we just did D, Some shapes are going to be the same, but some are going to be different because now we're dealing with a minor chord as our one chord for this moment. It's going to get its 5 from the beginning. So where we were, we had D natural was the name of the game, and now with B7, that D sharp note is in the driver's seat. It's making B7 happen, and it's the leading tone of E. I did a video recently on chromatics and their application in a key. That would be worth checking out if you're interested in this sound of leading tone tonicizing a new one. So here's B7, exactly the same mechanism as we had before. So 9 and 8 with 7 behind it on the 4th string. But now our minor chord is going to be different. So now we have 10th fret and 9th fret, G and E, 5th and 3rd strings coming behind. So G and E with an F sharp in passing, then out to a 10th, E and G, 7 and 8th fret of the 5th and 2nd strings. Grab the 6th, out to a 10th, voice exchange. G and E becomes E and G. And now our same, but this time for our 5 chord, rather than reaching out a whole step, we conform to the scale of E harmonic minor here. So we go from D sharp and F sharp, 6 and 7, up to 8th fret, G. And now we got again root and flat 7, frets 7 and 10. Back to 7 with a bar. Now a 10th, E and G. We're going to lead melodically through A, 10th fret, and first inversion E minor, G and B, 10 and 12, strings 5 and 2. So just even that much. These are the way you develop fluency on the board. And just look to move different voices at different times. So in this case, this is just a little chord scale study. How about putting the leading tone of B minor in there. So one thing I'd really love to get across is that when we think of, say, E minor, we think of these little starting places of harmonious intervals, 10ths, 6ths, 13ths, etc. Those are going to be the main ones. We could have 5ths in some cases, but less so. Less so for 2-voice style. Fifths don't sound quite as rich. Almost sounds like an older style of music from the Baroque. So we did E minor. Now we're going to get the exact stuff we did for major. We're running through it. Here's D7, 10 and 12 and 11, sorry, with 10 behind it. Same fingering as before. 9th and 12th fret, walking to 12, 10. And now the 5 chord, D7 over F sharp, 9 and 10, up a whole step again. Remember that? F sharp and A, passing to B, D and C, a root and a flat 7, that's always there. As long as you're in standard tuning, it's always there. Back to this line. So G and B, 10 and 12, up to 13, C, B and D, voice exchange. Here's G and B, here's B and D, D and G. And now the last one. Is going to be an A minor. So here's E7, 14 and 13 with 12 behind, and our minor version. So we go to this little 6th here on the 5th and 3rd strings, widening out to a 10th again. 15 and 14 on strings 5 and 3. So C and A with a B below, widening out to A and C. And now our 5 chord right below it. G sharp and B with a passing C, E and D, coming back to B. So 11 and 12, 13, 12 and 15, 12, and then what do you got? A minor, 12 and 13, up to 15, and our first inversion here, C and E, 15th and 17th. I hope you found something of interest here in bass motion drill number 4. If you've watched this long, I do appreciate your kind attention, and I wish you a very good day.